promote Arnold.
That's right.
And Arnold, if he sees going the wrong direction, he have no problem turning around. He'll turn on a dime. You know, it's in his vested interest.
That's right.
Oh,
exactly.
man, and I admire that. A lot of guys down on him because I admire it.
Well,
I tell you the truth. I wish I had that. I don't have that.
Yeah, so do I.
You know, I don't
Arnold
have
just
that.
had that thing is you can take it or leave it or get lost.
See, you'll give her, you're like, I couldn't do some of the all for myself decisions that he makes. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. But hey, look where he is. You know, and he's not what you call a mean guy or anything like that.
He
He's just out for Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold first, and then if you got something left, to give you.
You know, sometimes you got to do that way if you're actually going to get there. And I can imagine him in the beginning competing in all the shows when he was in his teens in Germany. It's strange how we really paralleled each other and how the camaraderie came through, because we should tell people about our camaraderie as well. But, I mean, back in the day, I think we had a lot more camaraderie than the guys today. I mean, you remember that. You went to the gym, you guys were friends, you went out, you hung out together, you ate together.
They hate each other.
Today they hurt each other. I mean, not beat each other up, but I mean, it's like they stick it to each other. They don't talk to each other that much. They don't hang out like we used to do. We had a lot of camaraderie, and I think that was the main reason why the sport also went where it went as well. We were great guys. We were free-spirited bodybuilders. I mean, we love the game. And, you know, I tell guys, I hate this one, I hate that one, you know. Don't hate the game, hate the player. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think is the future? You think bodybuilding can, according to Sean, they're not getting they're not getting a fan base. They said they want to change and start testing these guys. He said, but then they'll lose a hardcore, then they'll have nothing. Because they don't know if they can bring back the moderate. The people that want to see nice, like, see, in our day, you know what? In our day, you could put your hand over the faces of every bodybuilder and identify them just by their body.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We were talking about the
Can't do that today.
And then I remember when I won the Mr. World, when you were judging, it was Madison Square Garden, the Felt Forum, sold out. Remember that?
Yeah.
It only could seat 5,000 people, and it had 5,000 people. That's the Mr. World contest that year.
Only got the hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
And they're dwindling.
Yeah.
Because guys they want to be late. Say, man, I like that. They're looking at you this way instead of looking at you this way.
People can't relate to what's going on today with the sport. I mean, they look at it and it's like, what's going on here? It's like, and a lot of parents now don't even want their kids to do it.
Because because of the drugs. With men's sports, they claim, men's health, I think, outsell all the muscle magazines put together.
Wow.
Men's health, all of them.
Yeah.
Because you see those guys with bodies people can relate to.
Well, we should really try and appeal. A lot of times, I don't want to appeal to the baby boomer, but that's the biggest crowd. Well, and those are the ones that really need to get in shape and would love to be in shape, but when they look at that, they're figuring, it's too late for me. I can't look like that, and I don't want to.
But a lot of guys don't want to look like that.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I can't, but I don't want to look like that. I mean, it's sad when I look at that.
See, your best, you would look. I mean, you will still.
Well, there's a photo of me up there over when I won the Mr. World.
Yeah, you look. You look like somebody that you could aspire to.
Right. What's I'm saying? If you trained hard enough and you ate right, you could maybe get there. Right. Look at a guy like Frank Zane. And it's like, wow, if I trained hard enough, I could maybe look like that. But again, like I said, we talked like before, most of the people look at it. I didn't see Frank in the last 2 years. I don't know what's going on with him. But he was a great Mr. Olympia. And you had guys like Dave Draper. Dave Draper was from Jersey as well, Sea Caucus. And he was a great bodybuilder.
And a great personality.
Yeah, and he had his own TV show. I mean, I think bodybuilding back in the day was great because after Pumping Iron, I think Pumping Iron actually changed the face of bodybuilding. It really did. That's when people really got excited about it. That's when that's why
mainstream then.
Our group, that's why we got so much television work. That's why if you go to YouTube, you can see me on the Share Show. I mean, I did 2 Toyota commercials. I was on all the television shows, What's Happening Now. I was on the Merv Griffin Show. I was on the A-Team. They did a Friday night movie of the movie. Friday night movie.
The movie called,
oh yeah, it was great.
And it all comes
Hustler
from
Muscle Beach.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, and being a good, and bodybuilding being so popular back then.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was great. Then we did another movie called Grunt, the wrestling movie. It was a spoof on wrestling, but it all became because of us being bodybuilders, and we're more or less mainstream.
But you don't see that now. You're not
You
using
don't
you
see
guys
the
now.
commercials hardly nothing in
No,
bodybuilding.
because it's not
doesn't
pleasing.
sell
You
for
guys are
itself.
pleasing. Even see the share show, whatever you guys got better than that. But they can't have those monsters on these shows today.
No,
No, people they recoil.
I think when they looked at us on the share show, we were probably huge.
Yeah, but you still was
Right.
presentable.
Exactly. We're
You know, you still
presentable.
look
That's
somebody,
the
you
one,
know,
yeah.
you look. But you notice you don't see the bodybuilders in anything, like all those shows you went?
Yeah.
You don't see them.
It's pretty tough today.
Yeah.
I mean, our training, practices back in the day were a lot different. We didn't have the same kind of equipment. I mean, we talked about it before. I mean, like working out in the Y. I mean, again, going back there, wooden planks on the floor at the YMC. You could see mice and roaches on the bottom. We had plumber's pipe for squat racks and dipping bars. I mean, the pull down machine consisted of a pulley at the top with a rope coming down, and the bar would swing back and forth, so you have to be careful it doesn't hit you in the face when you're
Isn't that
doing
amazing?
it, and somebody had to hold your shoulders down. I mean, we didn't have those technological machines, but
Oh, no.
again, let's
They
go back
got
and look
everything.
what everybody looked like back then. Especially you, because you were way before my time. And they look at you and they say, wow, that looks like a modern
Well, I
day
can't
body.
convince some people not to take the drugs, they're so drug psyched up and orientated, they think you got a pimple on your arm, you took drugs.
Well, you look great. I'm looking at these photos up here.
And I'll
It's
tell you
absolutely
something.
incredible.
I'm not gonna knock it, I tell them all the time, I would have taken it. It was just when I got
wasn't
hurt.
available.
Wasn't available. And when I got hurt, then it started coming. I'll never forget the first time I became aware of it, when I heard about this fellow, Freddie Ortiz. He's about 4 feet tall,
Yeah.
with his arms bigger than his head.
Yeah,
And I said to him, I said, this guy's doing
Well,
something.
I think you had a chance to judge him in the show.
Yeah.
At the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
I said, this guy's doing something of the training.
And those were the days.
Yeah.
Right? The Brooklyn Academy of Music days. I mean, for everybody out there who never had an opportunity to see what was going on in those days, they were fantastic. Because I remember the first time I went to the Brooklyn Academy of Music, when Larry Scott won the first Mr. Olympia. I mean, you had old, young, kids, bodybuilders, people who weren't bodybuilders. It was absolutely fantastic. And by the way, Larry Scott, who won that Mr. Olympia, trained just down the street from this location we're at now, at Vince's gym. That was the famous gym back then, even before Joe Goles. And I mean, the crowd just went bananas. The place, when he came out on stage, I gotta tell you,
He couldn't carry the water today.
it just lit up. But the light bulbs, the flashes went just absolutely bananas.
But-
Seeing a guy like Larry Scott.
But he couldn't carry the water today?
No.
No. He couldn't carry, he wouldn't even
He
be.
couldn't even win the Mr. California.
That's right. And I mean, when I saw him, I looked, because he was round.
Because
Remember how
you
round?
one of the judges.
Yeah,
back
you know
then,
how
right?
round he
Oh,
was?
yeah. Great
And I mean, he
biceps.
walked out there, and I said, wow. And today, they've come so far that he couldn't even qualify.
No, he couldn't. None of those guys could. The only one who could, and this is really great, Sergio Oliva. He was way ahead of his time back in the day. Harold Poole.
Sure, but he came after Ortega.
Right. But Harold Poole
I mean,
was the
after,
next. Yeah, but Harold was the next guy.
There's Harold there.
Now, you know what though? I love Larry Scott, but Harold Poole was really the guy. He was really cut up, thick and big, and remember he won. Was it the Mr. America? No, he didn't win the Mr. America. The Universe. He competed.
He went with Joe,
Right,
he went with us.
Right, he was working with
Dave
Joe.
Jim and myself.
He won his big first title when he was working with Joe.
Yeah.
Because as we know, back in the day, the AAU would not have allowed him to win that show.
Yeah.
So, and that was a travesty. This is the thing that bothered me about bodybuilding, and see, that separated Joe and Bob Hoffman, the mentality. Joe Weider was a bodybuilder. Bob Hoffman was not a bodybuilder. He was a weightlifter, and he really didn't want minorities winning the contest. But Joe Weider had a whole different look, and most people have to understand this. And I want to let people know, back in the day when Leroy was working for Joe Weider and he had the magazines, he wanted to put Leroy on the cover. And Leroy actually told him, he told me, like, well, you can tell him the story, Leroy.
Well, no. I mean, the story, the reason of the fascination
amazing.
because the story is simply because you know me, I'm like to get into the head, it's me, I
Right.
like that. And I thought he was treating me well, and I wasn't into, I don't get, put him on the cover. So he said, I'm gonna put you on the cover.
To me.
And so, and all he did is count, said, oh, you're gonna lose money, and, you know, they're not gonna sell it in the South. And Joe said, we're gonna put him on the cover, he deserved it. So Joe said, Leroy, I'm gonna put you on the cover. I said, Joe, please. You know, I said, please, you know, I'm not, you know, I didn't give a shit. I really didn't, I didn't give a shit. So he said, and I thought he was just bullshitting me. He was going to do it, then when it come time to do it, something came up, you know.
Right.
And then when he said, come down and to the beach and we'll take this, well, I want you to come down to the beach and meet me in 2 hours, come down to the beach and we'll take these pictures of you on the beach. And I said, what is he? I said, how far is he going to carry this? I still thought, you know, and then he showed me the proofs. He says, here's the proofs of the cover. And I said, he's going to do something. He's really going to print those mags. I said, Joe, you know, I don't want you to lose money. I said, I don't want you to do that for me. He said, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for bodybuilding. And I said, boy, oh boy, it touched me. It really touched me. And you know the funny thing about it? You would see why we used to argue. We would argue like we were married. I made it. Yeah, I'm 17, 18 years old, 19 years old, and Joe would say now, so. I said, wait a minute, Joe, that isn't what you the fact. Joe said, oh God, he used it because most people